not. I hope I'm not lagging. I'm trying to do something different.
Okay.
When I'm combining two programs. Hell, everybody. I know we're late. It's my fault. It's always Handle's fault. It's color people time, man. CP, man. So okay. So I'm combining two. So I don't know if you've seen this, Pedro. I'm bouncing around. Like
Yeah,
I'm able to kind of move my camera or move where I'm at. So hopefully it's all. I think it's working. It's fine. Welcome everybody. We're gonna be talking about some NBA. Gosh darn it. NBA, right? They got the Knicks won. They got the Celtics. Of course, they're going to win.
Yep.
That's not even much of a conversation. The 3-1. Right now, I think we got a game playing right now. Okay, so you know what? Let's jump right in with the Mavericks. The Thunder. They're down by 12. The series is tied 2-2. Anything surprise you with this matchup? I know you're big on the Mavs. I think you usually say the Mavs are pretty good. So anything surprise you that they were able to kind of hold their own and probably may beat the Thunder?
Not really. I think the Thunder are really good, obviously, but they're young. I've been saying I think they're a little bit young. It's a little too early for them to make it to the finals. That's how I look at it. And I think Luka's a little banged up, but he's still playing pretty good. Kyrie's kind of been up and down, but the role players for the Mavericks have been pretty solid. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavs win that series. The only thing that surprised me is the Timberwolves taking the first 2 games in Denver, looking phenomenal. I think they're going to sweep. And then here comes the Nuggets taking the next 3 games. So
yeah, you know what to do, right? Where I just like make up an imaginary scenario that you did, even though you didn't do it. But I'm gonna do it anyway. So I remember I got a text from Pedro. It's like, "Yo, sweep."
Yep.
It's going to be a sweep. And I'm thinking, like, what is he talking about? Like a sweep? He's like, yeah. And Anthony, he's the next Jordan. Book it. They're gonna win championship. It's gonna be.
Stop. You always add these little fucking. Animal always does this. He's the next. I never said that, but he likes to see if.
Well, you gotta. It's a show. We gotta spice it up. Okay, but you did say sweep.
Yes.
And I thought, really? But then I looked at the score. I think at the second game, they were beating them really bad.
Yeah.
And Denver's been slow every game, even when they beat the Lakers. And then all of a sudden, you don't ever see this meme where you're playing a video game. It's like a cartoonish sketch between when you're goofing off and you're playing, you're not really taking it seriously. You lean back with the controller, you're playing. But when you're serious, you lean over to the screen to play. That's what Denver did. It was like, all right, this is bullshit. Yeah, we got this time for this.
Yeah.
And it's to the point like, damn, how did the Wolves even win 2 games?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just systematically just beating, and it's Anthony Edwards, and that's it. Right? It's
yeah. I mean, they got good players. But Joker, man, what he did last night after winning his 3rd MVP, they gave him to him before the game, right? And he just balled out. I mean, I think he missed 1 or 2 shots when Rudy Gobert was the primary defender. He made Rudy look like not the defensive player of the year. Joker was doing anything he wanted. And it goes to show there's levels to these guys. And the problem I see with the Wolves is Rudy is a really great defender, clearly. However, offensively, he's a liability. So the Joker doesn't have to play and exude energy on the defensive end against Rudy Gobert. He doesn't, because Rudy's not a threat. He'll get some dunks here and there, but whatever, right? He's not going to score a lot. He's not going to put Joker in a position to use a lot of energy. So Joker's chilling on the defense, grabbing some boards, and then on offense, he's giving everything he's got. And Rudy can't handle it. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, the Wolves, Ant hasn't been great the last couple of games.
Yeah.
Not as good as he was the first 2. That's a big difference. But I still like the Wolves, man. I think Ant's going to have a big game the next time they play, which is, I guess, maybe tomorrow or the day after. I do believe that. So we'll see what happens on.
It's interesting about Rudy Gobert. Like, he don't get a lot of respect or love.
Yeah.
Like, he gets, he's getting all these, you get the defensive player of the year because the stats just kind of show that, even though, Wemby had basically the same, but, team was really bad. But he just doesn't get any respect. He gets choked on by Draymond. I think is it the French?
I was just going to ask
him being French.
Do you think it's that? They look at him like he's kind of soft. He's got that French accent. Do you think that's what it is? I mean, it could be that. I don't know. And
It could be.
He's not good offensively, so he's kind of an offensive liability at times. So maybe it's that. I don't know. It's hard to say.
So okay, so I'm thinking of. Do you have any players in your mind that resemble Rudy Gobert at all? Because I'm wondering in terms of like someone who has like great defensive skills but like limited offensively. And
Mutombo was kind of like that a little bit.
Okay, but Mutombo, people didn't think Mutombo was a punk bitch.
No,
they wanted to dunk on him, but they didn't like. Draymond would not choke him, and Mutombo will,
No.
So I don't know if it's a difference.
No. I think I can't think of anybody that would compare to Gobert as far as not good offensively, and then people look at him like he's kind of a punk, right? I don't know.
Or at least someone so limited defensively. I mean, offensively, that people probably still saying that trade was good to get him, but was it like could have got a better trade or?
I mean, I think pieces? Right now it's been pretty good. He's winning awards. They're in the playoffs. I mean, they're a couple wins away from the Western Conference Finals. So I think overall the trade still has worked with him and Cat on the floor, putting Cat to the 4, Rudy plays the 5, and Ant, the succession of Ant has helped. But I don't know. He's an interesting guy. And listen, I think it's because he's French. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah. And shout out to my French fans, all of you one of you that may be here or partly French, or shout out to Tony Parker, probably one of the greatest French players ever.
But that didn't
Bobby.
Tony Parker like that, right? Did people think Tony Parker was kind of soft? I felt like he was pretty much respected.
Well, I think he was pretty much, and he played tough. And Pop broke him down to a point where nothing bothered him anymore. I'm sure Pop was instrumental in that. But Bobby talking about Ben, no one would ever. Draymond would not be around if he ever tried to do any of that Pistons. They know who's the tough guys and who's not. Ben Wallace was, first of all, he wasn't 7 foot tall. He was able to be a great defender. He held Shaq sometimes down.
Yeah.
And who does that, right? He gave Shaq some problems.
Not many. Pistons beat the Lakers. I think the Lakers only won 1 game that series. So, but Ben Wallace is offensively, I think, Bobby, that's a good comparison because Ben Wallace really didn't have offense, but he wasn't. People didn't look at Ben Wallace like they look at Rudy. No way. There's a difference there, a little bit.
Definitely. Pop.
Yeah.
I will call him Poppy, but Poppy Chulo, aka Hector, says Wolves are going home.
We'll see.
You don't think he's not going at least 7 games? Well, it has to, because if it doesn't, that's it. Tomorrow, that's it. Denver wins. So I hope it goes 7 games.
It's tied, right? Or is Denver? I think
no.
Tied.
Denver leads 3-2.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. They won.
They've been beating the shit out of the Wolves for 3 games.
You're right. Yeah. So, but they're back in Denver, right? No, they're in Minnesota.
Someone put in chat. I can't see.
I can't remember. I don't think the Wolves aren't going to lose.
Yeah, they're going to be at the Wolves spot.
Okay, so there's just no way they're losing 4.
He said, Nuggets figured them out. Did they figure them out, or just like stop goofing off? It's like, all right, can you take this seriously? All right, let's put some more effort in what's going on here. They were missing some shots too. That earlier in the last 2 games where just shit wasn't falling for them. I hope it goes 7 games. I hope. I think it'll be entertaining.
I want more basketball, so we're definitely wanting 7 games. What do you guys think about? What do you think about the Knicks? I mean, the Knicks. Jalen Brunson is on a run right now. I think he's got 4 or 5 games, 40-plus points or more consecutive. LeBron James was the last person to do it. Before that, I think it was MJ. Brunson's in the category of all-time greats. Currently for the last, month or whatever.
No, since he was born, it's Brunson, Jordan, LeBron.
So Brunson's conversation right now. Yeah, okay.
I mean, Brunson is better than Carmelo Anthony. Brunson is I would say this. The fact that the Knicks are down multiple starters, not just multiple, at least 3 starters down and able to play and still win and be competitive. It's something that New Yorkers, that's why, why there's so many celebrities in New York right now watching every game in the home. Like every celebrity from New York is there. All the Knick legends are there. We've been desperate for a team to actually do something in the playoffs and I guess play the way that New York City is proud. Like I like all these players. There's not Randall, but they're likable personalities. They kind of fit New York style.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. So it's great that I kind of thought about this. Can Carmelo Anthony at a prime do what Brunson is probably doing with this team of
he did it.
Probably.
He did.
Yeah.
Melo didn't have that run. He wasn't putting up numbers like that.
Bro, Carmelo was dealing with LeBron and just destroying the East, where it didn't matter. You weren't going to make it. And I just think that I don't know. Brunson's a little different. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
You know what? Let me throw this out there. I would like to get Hector's opinion on it too, because I was thinking about this as I'm watching them play. Obviously, they got the Villanova boys. Those guys are the chemistry in basketball is obviously key, and they've been playing together for a while, right?
Yeah.
The chemistry is something you can't replicate via trades usually. These guys know how to play together.
They trust each other. Yeah,
that's a big deal. But the one thing about Brunson and basketball, when you're trying to play defense versus somebody that's left-handed versus right-handed, there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the muscle memory as a defender has your body tilted to a particular angle if most guys are right-handed, right?
Right.
And James Harden's a great player. He's a lefty. He had that run, 3, 4, 5 years in a row. He was unstoppable, right? Brunson's not to that level yet. He's not putting up those kind of numbers. But I think some of it has to do because he's left-handed. He's shifty, right? He's not super quick, but he's short, but he's big. He's strong, right?
There's definitely some stockiness, some strength there where he bumps. He's on the floor a lot though. But he gets back up. And also he's carrying the offensive weight of the team. If the threes are dropping for everybody, just great. But it's him creating. I mean, they try to trap him. They try to make it as difficult as possible for him not to have the ball. If he did get the ball, he only had 10 seconds to fucking do a reverse layup, fall on the ground, and
DiVincenzo and Hart and those other guys, the other point guard, I forget his name. If they're hitting the threes, like you said, I mean that's the recipe for the Knicks. So it's interesting, but I think him being left-handed has a little bit to do with some of the success. Plus, I think he's just a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. They trade, he had a good playoff series with Dallas when Luka was hurt. They trade him, free agency, whatever. The Knicks get him. People are like, "Is this the guy? This is the best we can do as the Knicks. This is Jalen."
Well, Stephen A. had that. He apologized. He realized he made a mistake. Clearly. Marion, appreciate you for coming through. Look at what Coach Tibbs did when he coached the Bulls. Of course. I mean, and the concern is the usage rate of Brunson. Now, I know right now he has no choice. So there's no criticism right now. There is who else is going to, when he's not playing or when he's not there, I don't know what the plus minus is. I don't know on top of my head. It's probably not good.
Yeah.
Unless they're rolling. If they're rolling, then it's cool. They don't have another ball handler that's as effective as Brunson. No. So I understand right now, and he's taking a lot of shots. Who else is going to take him? There's no Randall. There's no Bogey's not there. And then OG's hurt. He got a hamstring injury. Hector says that Jalen Brunson is the best in the NBA at changing speeds in the paint.
I would say you're not wrong. I think Luka's better at it. I think Luka's pace is better than Brunson's, in my opinion. But Brunson's right there. He's right there. I'm a big Brunson fan, but I think Luka's a little bit better at that pace and getting into the paint, using his body. Brunson's there, but my only thing with the Knicks is you got Hart, you got Brunson playing big minutes, and they have to because they're injured. At some point, if they continue, they win, they get to the next series, it tends to catch up to you, right?
Oh, of course. I would imagine eventually.
It catches up. And Hart's doing a lot. He's leading the league right now in the playoff rebounds. He's a guard. He's leading the league in playoff rebounds over Joker, and I can't remember who the third person is. I mean, that's amazing. But at some point, man, if you're playing all those minutes, it might catch up. And that's the only thing I'm concerned about with the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, let's say if they get out of the series with the Pacers, and there's no guarantee, but I mean, this is a pretty good, strong game that they had, and it may have broken them a little bit.
Yeah.
The Celtics do you have any injury issues?
Porzingis hasn't really played a lot, but I don't know the severity of it. If
Past his Porzingis, I can't believe he's gonna beat the Knicks and get to the that's annoying. That does annoy me.
So that's what we need. That's what we're I think that's the perfect matchup. I think
he didn't want to stay with the Knicks, and I know they sucked, but damn it, he had a little bit of faith. But like you said, just because he would have stayed doesn't mean Brunson would have been there. I mean, things are different, but you know what I mean? Like, he left a lot of bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. I think he was supposed to be the unicorn. He was supposed to be like this 7-foot tall guy shooting threes. So it looks like it's probably gonna happen anyway. But god damn it.
I mean, what's your confidence level? Knicks versus Celtics. Let's say that happens. I think that's where we're going.
Okay, is Jason Tatum kidnapped? Is Jason Tatum going to be at the arena when he plays?
Yeah.
Jaylen
Brown.
No, the best defender is hurt with a hamstring injury. So who's guarding him? Hard.
If the Knicks got OG, he's guarding Brown and or Tatum.
Right.
Switch on. He can guard Horford if he needed to. He can guard anybody basically on that Celtics team. So that's a big deal not having him. Big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for it. I mean, it wouldn't be one of the bigger upsets I've seen, just because of the injuries on the Knicks side.
Yeah.
Bobby's like, Celtics should sweep, but they always shit the bed, so it goes 7. Yeah, right. I mean, they did lose that. They did lose that first game, and it didn't look good. And it was kind of like, come on, you're the Celtics. But then they turned it up, and now they're gonna. They already got it. So it's like, it's kind of similar to the Nuggets. Like, you gotta wake up and realize you're the better team. But I don't know, Hector. Do you think they're gonna win? I mean, you think Knicks Celtics? You think Knicks has a chance? He says Knicks Nuggets are changing landscape, and you don't need super teams to go deep in the playoffs. I'm very happy the super team. I mean, yeah, I think they may still try, but the problem is our stars. Good job, Durant. Good job, Harden. Good job, Kyrie. You fucked it all up. Like, you fools embarrassed. Yeah, and no one wants to deal with that embarrassment. You gotta do it the way the Warriors did it. You draft well. So you don't have to worry about it. You draft the best that you can do, and you keep the core of really good players, and then you maybe do a trade or two of some pieces you're missing. You have to draft well. And the problem is, and I don't know if you're gonna go straight into talking about Bronny, but this draft is weak. So I don't know what they're gonna pick out of this. But yeah, so Hector says if OG is healthy, the Knicks should win. Celtics sometimes lose focus within games. Are they going to lose focus on 4 games? 4 games.
I don't think so. And I think with the Knicks, Hector brings up a good point, though, about the super teams and things like that. One thing we got to remember about the Knicks, though, we're talking about drafting well, which they've done. They didn't draft Brunson. They did not draft DiVincenzo. They didn't draft OG. They didn't draft Randall. Like, they've used free agency to make.
Oh yeah, and then they didn't draft Hart, obviously, too. They traded for him.
Yeah, so they have more picks.
Good point. Yeah, that's totally opposite of what I just said.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think Hector was talking about great coaching. The GM, when GM's able to pull shit like that off, you have to give them a lot of respect. And I think Leon Rose he's a team president or Hector.
I'm not sure. I know Hector does. I'm not sure who the GM is there, but they've done a great job. So
that means they know what they're doing. Because I think both are difficult because you're looking to try to get pieces to fit and also the salary to match. Drafting is difficult upon itself because, if anyone knew Brunson was going to do what he does, he would have been. I don't know what class he came out of, but he probably would have been higher. You just don't know.
Yeah.
People didn't think Anthony Edwards was going to necessarily kill it in the NBA.
Yeah, I think he only played 1 year at Georgia. I think Anthony Edwards was the 2nd or 3rd pick. I think he was 2nd pick, and yeah, he's gotten better every year.
You win. It's just certain things. It's just the intensity. Who cares about the game? Because you just look at someone's physical frame and like, this guy looks like a monster. He should be, but in his head, Ben Simmons. He has all the tools of his body to be great. He had demonstrated greatness, and then he doesn't want to play anymore, or the injuries or the mental stuff. Slim Pippen said Celtics lack intensity. What do you think about that?
I don't think that. I don't think they lack intensity. I think the Celtics struggle sometimes late in games. And when you have guys that are Brown and Tatum very similar in how they play and their approach, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't know who's going to do what. And you can notice that sometimes the chemistry between those two guys sometimes can be a little off. The reason that they've done really well this year, in my opinion, where it's helped is Derek White's taking some of the pressure off of both of those guys. Porzingis during the regular season taking some pressure off of those guys. So that's helped. And Holiday coming in being the prime defender. But I don't think they lack intensity necessarily. I think, though, they might have some matchup issues. If OG is healthy, if he's able to come back, the Knicks play at a high intensity level. They're grimy. And that's why the New York fans are happy right now. They are grimy. Each of those guys. Who's the center? Harveststein or whatever? Very grimy, right? So the Celtics might have a little bit of trouble, but they've got so much talent. I don't think that they would lose 4 games to the Knicks if it happens. I just don't.
Yeah. Before we go about the draft and Bronny.
Yeah.
Will you two talk about Olympic? Yeah, I mean, what's going to happen this summer? I mean, there's nothing else. I mean,
every game by 20 points. I mean, they should.
I don't know. Wemby is how the French team is going to. I mean, is he even playing? He may not even be playing.
France. I mean, usually you have like the Spain's usually pretty good. Argentina. Yeah. Those are the main ones. The main 2 that give USA some issues. They're loaded. I mean, they've got everybody. The one problem we're talking about the Knicks before we get to Bronny. Jalen Brunson should be on that team, and he's not. That's a problem, right?
Because the only reason I could come up with his size. That's the only thing I can think of. He's was it 6'2"?
Yeah.
I mean, Kyrie probably should have been there, but they don't want him to do something to embarrass them. Like you know how it's very corporate.
But he's been pretty
smart. He's been good, but they don't trust him because his talent is outwardly. You can't.
No.
If you can't pick Kyrie to join a team, then who's in the team?
Yeah.
Who's on the team?
Well,
it's like
so the 2 people I think, in my opinion, you guys let us know in the chat. Halliburton's on it, which he's a really good player, and Holiday from the Celtics. Both of those guys should go off, and you should have Irvin and Brunson in.
Yeah.
You're just swapping guards.
I wouldn't complain about that. I mean, you got I think all of your really good players want to play. So you're good. I mean, unless you just like we need defense, we need a guy that don't even bother trying to shoot the ball.
No, we got the top.
Oh, that we Holiday. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only other top guys you don't have are guys that aren't they're not born in America.
Right.
The Lucas, Embiid's actually playing on the USA team. Wemby, all the but yeah, they're loaded. I think Brunson and Irvin should be on that team, and that makes it stronger. But they're not going to lose either way. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, it'd be great, but Brunson has been dealing with this for a while, and he's putting on a great performance. Hopefully, next season, some health things go in a different direction. Maybe they'll try to pick. Now I know they're trying to see if they can get Devin Booker. Who say maybe the Knicks draft Bronny and then LeBron will just come to the Knicks for a season or 2.
Booker, because you take Devin Booker on the Knicks, you'd have to give up a lot.
And then I'm hearing reports that the Knicks are willing to give up everything. Hopefully, that's just a bullshit report. Like give up everything.
So to get,
what does that even mean?
You're not giving up Brunson, but you would have to give up probably DiVincenzo, Hart, and another guy, and maybe a draft pick. So you're
and a lot of teams probably want Mitchell Robinson because he's tall and he's a decent. He's a decent, kind of like your old school 7-footer. He dunks a lot and he blocks and stuff. But the Knicks have tried this with many. Like Melo came in, and they gave everything away. All of the decent pieces. I mean, none of those guys left became like Hall of Famers, but that was a solid. And you gave it to the black hole, which is, and I think that's why I think I like Brunson's a little, at least better to watch than Melo. Melo is the black hole, man. He threw the ball in there, and all right, he'll do his thing. And if it was going in, it's great. If it wasn't, it's like, well, no one else is getting a chance to shoot. And it's interesting because Brunson is a scoring point guard, but you could tell he's doing it because he has to. Like this, there is no one else that can do what he's doing. So,
no.
I hope that.
Let me ask you a question. As a New York Knicks fan, you guys answer in the chat as well. But Hannibal, without having recency bias, because sometimes it's hard not to, has Jalen Brunson done more for New York than Carmelo Anthony has at this point? Like, is he a better Knick than Carmelo Anthony?
I'm gonna say yes, because Carmelo messed up Linsanity. I will never forgive what he did.
We still have need to do a lot about that.
Linsanity. Listen. Okay, you can say it's a flash in the pan. He only did it for a few games, and
tripping, Bobby Chulo. What the heck? What are you and Hannibal on? Go ahead, continue.
I'm going to continue that they found the diamond in the rough for this Asian boy, and he was able to hold his own. They had a coach that knew exactly how to coach point guards, and Carmelo did not embrace the dude. It looked like he was mad that Lynn was getting a lot of attention, and then Lynn took his dumb ass to the Rockets and was never heard again. If Lynn was there and Carmelo wrapped his arms around him and said, "Yo, let's get to work, let's win," I think it would have worked. And he did not do that. He didn't. It was, and also J.R. Smith was talking shit about like, Lynn is getting a lot of attention. Yeah, because the guy was actually playing really well for not just 1 or 2 games. He had a long stretch. You know what I mean?
I'll err on the side of you being a Knicks fan and remembering it. What I remember, he had a few good weeks. Every team he went on afterwards, and Jeremy Lin is an NBA champion. He won with the Raptors, but he wasn't a significant role in that team.
He was a
the Lakers. Couldn't play with Kobe because Kobe don't play that, right? He went to a few other teams. He bounced around.
Yeah, he actually played for the Brooklyn Nets too.
Yeah, the Nets. Yeah, I mean, I think he's played for 6 or 7 teams, maybe even the Hornets at one point. Jeremy Lin had a few good weeks. I don't think he ran on momentum. I don't think if Melo embraced him, they're going to the finals or winning a chip. You know, I don't see.
Well, okay, I want to go. I mean, again, it was, he's there with LeBron, Miami Heat, which was devastating. I mean, they beat everybody, right? That was the super team. The problem is that Jeremy Lin was never meant to even get to where he was.
True.
And I'm sure he's the guy that, he's a smart guy, but he overplayed. He definitely outplayed his potential. But the problem is, if you have a great player in Carmelo that can put his arm around him, like I'm saying, and say, let's win together.
Yeah.
That would give him the confidence. There was something about him being in the Garden. For some reason, he was able to play extremely well.
Yeah.
And I think once they went to the Rockets, they realized he's not a number 1 guy. He's not number 2, number 3. No. And and then once they got harder, they didn't care. And then he just started bouncing around. The NBA lost faith in him, and then he definitely lost faith in himself. And he kind of just a guy who was able to stay on the team. And now he can't even get on the team. I don't know how old he is now. But I think the issue with Carmelo, it's the black hole. Right? He's not the great defender. He can defend if he wanted to. He never really did.
Carmelo was a bucket. I think
he was a bucket. He was a bucket.
I love Jalen Brunson. I love everything about Brunson and all New York. Listen, it's hard for me to say as a Bulls fan, but the Knicks have a really nice team, and I like how they play ball. I like that they're together. You can tell these guys like each other. They respect each other. They do everything they want. They work hard for each other on the court. And that's hard to admit as a Bulls fan because the Bulls haven't been good for a while. But Carmelo Anthony is a better player than Jalen Brunson.
I'm not saying that. So let me get that straight. Right, Carmelo Anthony is a Hall of Famer, champion. Obviously with Syracuse. I'm sure he has some gold medals. Prime Carmelo Anthony could probably do what Brunson's doing right now.
Yeah. I mean, and Hector, you said he didn't do much with the Nuggets. A young Carmelo Anthony in his 2nd or 3rd year took him to the Western Conference Finals and lost to the Lakers. A Kobe Bryant led Lakers team. So Melo did some stuff. And then at the end,
when you talking about a Nick, he's just talking about the Nick. It's more than just. It's like the vibe. Yeah. It's the energy. It's how he plays. I think. I don't know. I think for some reason, and we enjoyed those teams when it was him and Amari Stoudemire. But I knew in my heart that they were never going to be able to beat LeBron. No. They didn't have enough.
Do you think Melo is just I think their personalities, him and Brunson, are different. Brunson's a little grimy, a little not like look at me. Carmelo's a little more flashy, a little more diva-ish in some regards, right?
Yeah,
that kind of maybe. Not all New York Knicks fans wrap their love around him for that reason, whereas Brunson's a more likable guy overall, in my opinion. But
and also when just like any other Knick, when Carmelo goes to the Garden. They give him love. There's no. I mean, he wanted to give him respect because he wanted to show up. For some reason, stars do not want to go to New York City. I think this is a little different now because now there's some attention. Maybe that'll be a little different. But Carmelo, at the prime of his career, said, "I want to go to New York," and pushed himself out of New York. And now I don't know if he's getting that much love in Denver, to a point where another man that wears 15 jersey is basically almost it looked like he may be the greatest center ever played.
Yeah.
Where it's like, sorry, Melo, you didn't even bring a championship. So I think unfortunately
I mean, you mentioned Joker. I mean, let me say this right now: if Joker wins, if they go back to back, if they win, which that could definitely happen, right? Possible. And then he gets another Finals MVP after just winning his third MVP in 4 years and came second last year to Embiid. You're going to have a hard time saying he's not the best center ever. You just are. And he still has years to go. And he's done that much so far. But
Lester's giving me the business. Lynn averaged double digits for 9 years, 12.4 assists, 3 rebounds. When he got playing time, he averaged 15, 6, and 4. You guys got to step up your game if you speak sports. Thank you, Lester, for hanging out. But it's only me, so you don't have to get too mad about me not knowing what the fuck I'm talking about. This is my opinion. And Hector's opinion. Maybe Pedro has the more of the non-bias. He has no emotion in Jeremy Lin and Linsanity.
You have,
but there's a couple of good YouTube videos that kind of broke that down. And I think a great player should be played no matter where they are, and they should have the mindset of But Jeremy Lin was definitely a sensitive guy, but I don't know what happened. Like I don't see another player that did what Jeremy Lin did, where he had a run like that and then just fell off.
I've talked about this. This is my opinion. The stats that Lester brought up, which I'm assuming they're right. That's not a superstar. That's a role. That's not a superstar, right?
Right.
It's not. The reason Jeremy Lin, the whole insanity thing, and I'm gonna say this right now, he had a few good weeks. He's Asian. And we ain't ever seen an Asian ball out like that. That's why he was popular in New York City.
It was some good fucking. Do you ever sit there and watch some games with you with Jeremy Lin playing the Lakers and see what he was doing to Kobe?
I remember.
He was giving Kobe the business.
I remember. But the reason, if he's a white dude, a black guy, it's the Linsanity is not on that level. It's just
I understand.
Because the number, it's not like he went to the Rockets and averaged 20 a game. He didn't go to LA and average 20 a game with Kobe. Like, he didn't do those things, right? So
no,
his peak was with the Knicks when he first came in, and then he digressed every year after that. So that's how I look at it.
You know, when you talk about coaching being important, the way Mike D'Antoni set up, it's definitely run. It's fast, and Jeremy Lin was able to flourish in that system. I don't know who coached the Rockets when he went over there. But clearly, I think they got baited they overpaid him because he would have just stayed in New York. But I think the Rockets just gave him a bunch of money in the back end.
Yeah, because they wanted him
to left.
Yao Ming. You got to remember the connection with the Rockets in China. Like they wanted him to.
Yao Ming was still there?
No. He was gone. But I think they were.
They were trying to. Oh, yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like, that's how.
It's fine. No one's gonna believe this. This is my unpopular opinion. Things if Carmelo would have not worried about the attention Jeremy Lin was getting, even if it was unjust or not, and say, listen, I think we have something here. D'Antoni doesn't get fired.
Yeah. Who
knows what could have went? Because I think D'Antoni's system is run and score. That's what Melo wants to do, right? I think I don't know who was coach after that, but then after D'Antoni leaves, the system is different, and I mean, you don't know bad performances. Jeremy Lin, first round with Miami Heat, it was embarrassing. Like he got ate up. I mean, LeBron was just obviously with Wade, and it wasn't a contest.
He does that to everybody, so it's hard to give him crap for that. But listen, shout out to Jeremy Lin. I think somebody in the chat said he was definitely a hooper, reasonable, serviceable point guard. Absolutely. When you're on that many teams, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It means you're wanted. It means there's a role for you in the NBA, and he played several years. I tip my cap, but he didn't get better. He got
no,
worse.
he did not.
So
no.
Thing with Brunson's getting better. Brunson's getting better every year. You know what I mean? and other players. So I don't know. I know you got a soft spot for Jeremy Lin, but
Hector, let's do a Jeremy Lin podcast because no one's going to understand this because you got to be in New York.
Hector considered.
I guess maybe if you were here, maybe you'd be like, yeah, that was odd. Like, how's he able to do it? What he's fucking doing? He's hitting game winners in Toronto. Like, what the fuck? And then it just disappears. Why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it is fascinating, but it's all day. You don't know.
Listen, you New York guys are funny, man. Listen, I want to get into the Bronny James. I want to get your opinion on. And there's also something. So stay tuned because I got a surprise for Hannibal. I need his reaction to a story that's not basketball related. But as far as the Bronny James stuff, I had a different opinion a couple of months ago, but some things have shifted for me. But what's your take on draft combine? What he's saying? Do you think he's going to get drafted? What do you think right now?
It's very odd that because we all assume after his health issues, he didn't play a lot in USC. I would just I didn't even think about, he'll probably just play another year. Yeah. It's okay. He's not a big deal. He's not playing for money, clearly. There's no rush. You don't need to go play. Even though LeBron has, and I criticize LeBron on this, I want to play with Bronny.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure on that young man. That's not necessary. I know you love him, and that's the thing too. We'll talk about that later on about parents, and we think our kids are amazing at anything, and then sometimes we're not honest with ourselves, even though our kid may suck. And I'm not saying Bronny suck. I'm just saying like the love of his father or love of your kids is not rational or logical, right? Oh, my daughter could sing, and then you hear her sing like, but to him, sounds amazing. So I thought he'd come back, but then when they started saying that he was going to go and actually declare the draft, I thought that was really odd. The slander, it was always annoying to me. Like, these are kids. I know now he's an adult, but damn, like, all right, let's see. But the hate is not necessarily, I don't know if it's directed towards him, but it's directed towards LeBron. It looks like nepotism. So he's there. And now I would say this, he looks good.
He looks good.
He's short. But NBA standards, what, 6'1"
inches based on what they have in the program.
And Brunson's what, 6'2". So the guy's an athlete. I think he had the fourth highest vertical jump. Pretty good 3-point shooter, which is good. You can shoot the 3-point, you'll have a place in the NBA. So we're not saying he does it.
Good point.
Just you can tell that there is a push. He's going to get drafted. Yeah, he's going to get drafted.
Your thought is he's going to get drafted and play in the G League to start, or you think he's going to make an NBA roster?
You probably go to G League.
You think G League? Okay.
But I think he gets in, and a lot of it is based on his father's name.
So you don't
other players do get, like Pippen's son. I don't know where he is.
He was with the Lakers. Well, he's with the Lakers, and I think he's in the G League right now with the Lakers.
There's a few NBA kids or that you don't know where they are, but they do play in the NBA, or at least attempted. People do look at the name. Oh, that's LeBron's kid. All right. I mean, we've seen him grow up. We've seen him, and then unfortunately, he just didn't grow enough inches. Because if he was 6, they had him 6'4", listed 6'4" in USC. I looked at him. I'm like, this guy's not 6'4".
He's 6'1.5". But I'll say this: I think I like your take. But let me add a little spice to it. Okay. Bronny James will play in the NBA for 2 reasons. First reason, if we're sticking it to basketball, to your point, he can hit the 3. He's going to be a decent defender. His comp is going to be a guy that can play in the league because he was going to defend. He's athletic and he can hit a 3-point shot. If you can
you got a place. We got a spot.
You're going to play. Now, is he going to start? Nah, he ain't starting. Okay, but he can make an NBA team. Okay, there's a team out there that has a guy that's not as good as Bronny James. That might be older. Bronny James comes in. He's younger. He's going to make less money. He will be in the NBA. Now, the second reason I think he'll get drafted is not basketball related. It's about money. Okay, if you've got a guy like that garners that much attention, you're going to sell jerseys. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. It's a business move as well. And if I'm LeBron James and the Lakers came out publicly this week, or maybe the end of last week, and said, "Hey, we want you back, whatever you want." So LeBron can basically say, "Hey, I want $100 million," and they're going to give him $100 million. Yeah. Like, the Lakers publicly said, "Hey, what you want to play? Here you go." You want 2 more years? We'll give you 120 million, 60 million a year. He deserves that. And if his caveat is like, hey, I want you to draft my boy, the Lakers would be stupid not to. There's one guy at the end of that bench in the Lakers that is equal or not as good as Bronny James. So he's going to make it to the league for one of those two reasons, maybe both. Do I agree with it? Taking another guy's spot that, just because your dad's in, that's business. We see that in all facets of business.
That's a good point. We kind of, we're not, you don't be naive, right? Nepotism is around all of us. And in the corporate world, obviously. And you say, well, it's not right, but it's like, that's how it is. Unfortunately, it just, because what's the other saying? It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yep.
Well, if my dad runs the company, he loves his kid. He thinks his kid is smart. Probably thinks he's smart, and the kid is probably is. He's going to get a position. Because if you had a kid, you'll hope that you have a kid and try to get them to learn from the bottom up and not think you entitled.
Yeah.
Bronny seems like he's working hard. He seems like he's trying. That's the worst. That's the worst example. Right? There's no reason he should not be on the bench. He should be in G League.
No,
just because, right? But
players in the NBA is his brother, so it's his Giannis is just taking care of his family, and the Bucks are like, hey, what's the difference? He's not going to really play, so it's not like there's another guy. It's not like he's taking somebody's spot that's going to make a significant difference on the roster. It's just not. So I think that there's a business side of it. Plus, Bronny James, he ain't a knucklehead. Like he's publicly said, I want to make a name for myself. I'm here. Yeah. Comps, he's working.
He's
hard.
not thinking about the LeBron James coming to play with him. So
yeah,
he's saying the right things.
I think he's going to make it into the league. Do I think he needs to play another year or two to get more basketball at college? Sure, but I think USC wasn't a good fit for the position that he played. There was guys on that roster, 2 or 3 of them better than him at that point. So he didn't get a lot of playing time. He didn't get a lot of minutes where the ball was in his hands and he needed to do a lot. I think that's why we saw him only score 4 or 5 points a game. But he's a 3-and-D guy. He could play. He's going to be a good defender on ball, and he can hit a 3. So there's a spot for him somewhere on somebody's team. So
I'm just surprised at LeBron James being a goddamn basketball genius. Like he's a savant. Like basketball IQ is off the charts.
Facts.
Do you think he gave an honest look to his son? I'm sure his input was in there. He may have told him to go. Do you trust his ability to look at his son objectively and make those type of decisions?
No, because I think LeBron James didn't know his dad growing up. LeBron, so I think he extra loves, him breaking that generational curse and how he loves his family. We don't ever see no drama from LeBron, no issues. There's no controversy. He's a family man and just happens to be one of the best athletes of all time. So yeah. I he's, to your point, he's skewed he believes his son can do great things. Is he going to be like his dad? No. Nobody's like that. You can't compare, right? But I think he could definitely play some years in the NBA. Do I think he's going to, who knows what that looks like? But
Hector got some here. I want the Knicks to get him. That would be hilarious if they how many more small guards? Because McBride is small too, right? He's kind of short.
He's bigger than Bronny.
Okay, well, yeah. I don't know. LeBron trains the NBA staff, NBA drills, all the NBA sequences, defensive reads, everything. He has been trained to play in the NBA. Let us give him a shot and see what he does. Bryce is apparently the one.
Yes.
Guy is supposed to be.
Lester's got a good comment. Bryce is bigger, can also hit a 3. He's going to be better defender around the rim. Bryce is the one that we're not even really thinking about, but he's 2 years younger or something like that. So yeah, I can see both of them in the league. I really can. I
think LeBron said this, and if I'm wrong, let me know. But I think he said Bryce, of all the kids and him, Bryce is the better shooter, which is kind of scary if that's even possible because he'll have his height and able to shoot.
Yes, at that in high school. He's better shooter than both him, LeBron, and Bronny. LeBron did say that. Yeah,
that's not bad. So I'm not there to see him fail. It seems like there's people who watch Bronny to see him fail because, why making fun of the amount of points he scored per game, which is not good.
Yeah.
They seem like, and it's all, it could be just translated. If you don't like LeBron for whatever reason,
You're gonna hate on.
you may hate him. You know, is that, like I said, another kid could have had a chance. You taking it away from that draft that maybe went to somewhere else. He doesn't need the money. Why did he just go to another college program? He went to the portal, found another college program. It is fascinating, but I give props to that he actually did pretty well in the combine. It seemed like he's able to, like I said, if he's able to jump out of the building and he's able to shoot a three, you have a place. Now,
Hey,
with the kind of place that is, you have a place.
second, he was second in threes, fourth in the vertical. And he looked good. He looked healthy. I mean, the size thing is the one thing. People even called him tiny. One pundit said Bronny James looks tiny. They thought he looked smaller than they imagined and what's on the paper. But that happens in sports a lot. Football players do it. Basketball players. You add some weight, you lower weight, you add inches. You know, it happens. But on the court is what's going to matter. And I think he's going to have a spot for either the reasons I mentioned, because of his physical talents or the business side of it. So
yeah, that was a good point with the business stuff. You kind of forget it's about making money. It's about bringing talent in, at least for that first season that people would want to see Bronny play. And no, to try to, and I couldn't imagine being a kid and my father was, you know, probably one of the greatest basketball players who ever played a game. And then you go ahead. You go play. Like I mean, I'm sure like the Jordan kids, they tried it. They didn't even try to even attempt to do anything. Like I don't even know if they even like basketball. Right?
One of his, I think Marcus went to Illinois, the Illini. He wasn't that. He's a good. Listen, these guys are all great players, but like there's levels to this. These guys are all balling out in high school, but that's different. You get to college and you get, you know. So yeah, Michael Jordan's sons, if anything, they weren't as good as LeBron's sons. I'll give LeBron's family that.
I think LeBron, and I would, you know, I wasn't in, you know, the living room of MJ and his kids. I feel like LeBron was more available because Jordan is an assassin and he's a maniac, and it's all about
better father than Michael Jordan. That's what I'm hearing you say.
And that's not fair to say because we weren't there.
Yeah,
but it could be. It's possible.
I'll say it.
I mean, that's your guy. So
right behind me here, but he's a known kind of an asshole, right? I don't think LeBron.
Like Kobe is an asshole, but I feel like he was more of a family man than Jordan. I think Jordan was just he's aloof. He wanted to gamble. He wanted to be the greatest of whatever he decided to do.
He divorced Juanita, his wife. They got divorced, so that makes a difference in how much you're around your kids.
That's a good point.
LeBron's and Kobe did not have that. They stayed.
And Kobe, it could have went that way with Kobe, and Kobe fixed his relationship.
He did.
I think that's a $4 million ring, so that's healthy repair.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm rooting for him to, you know, because sometimes, I like to bang on LeBron too sometimes, but like, nah. First of all, why are we even talking about him when he was 15, 16? Like this, we talked about this. Like this is weird. Just enjoy what they're doing. We don't know if it's going to translate to the next level. I know Carmelo's kid is supposed to be really good.
Yeah.
So there's a few, but he's still young, and Carmelo seems like I think he's looking at it in a different way too. He's like, what, you know, it's all about doing it the right way. He's not pushing him to go, because again, money, they don't need the money.
No.
Right? So
but you can tell that they like ball. They like playing basketball. You can tell that, you know, and I think there's something to that. I'm rooting for him. I mean, I think it will make a great story. Seems like a really good kid. He's going to be in the NBA for one of the two reasons I meant. It's going to happen. I think if you went to the draft combine and didn't do well,
then we'll have a difficult.
If he went 5 for 25 on the 3-point line, his vertical wasn't great. He looked slow. That's one thing. But he looked like one of the better prospects. So that, you know, he's off to a good start.
That helped. I mean, I think they probably realized that you have to show out because you don't have enough tape in college of anything. So he's doing that. So we'll see. Hector says this is my three teams that will get him: Heat, Knicks, Spurs. You said 3. 4.
I see 4 teams.
I don't know.
No, it's 3. Heat, Knicks, Spurs. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know you're talking about.
Let me ask you this, Hannibal. Do you want, if in the second round, the New York Knicks draft Bronny James? What's your thought on that? Are you happy with that? Or are you not happy with that?
Is LeBron coming? Because that's the only. I'm like, okay, because again, I don't see like NBA talent, but do the Knicks need another guard?
Okay, so
I mean, they kind of do. I mean, he's going to draft it. He's going to draft the being on the bench.
You get LeBron James 2 years, 120 million. They draft Bronny, but you get rid of Hart, you get rid of DiVincenzo, you get rid of Robinson and Randall. So you got LeBron, you got a couple other role players they pick up. You got Brunson. Are you happy with that? Having LeBron on that team with Bronny?
How old is LeBron again?
It doesn't matter. He dropped 25 points a game this year. He's still in elite shape. He's still that guy.
That's a lot to give. Hector's like, no way.
Really? Y'all are crazy.
If LeBron was 35.
So for 2 years, you don't think that could push them? You value Josh Hart and
wait. Okay. Oh, so you said Hart will go. Is Hartenstein leaving? Is Mitchell Robinson leaving? Is OG leaving?
One of the two. OG's not. They're not getting rid of OG.
Okay. If OG's still there.
Yeah, you got OG and Brunson. That's a pretty good three.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Fuck it. I mean, again, emotion.
For the Nets. Oh god damn, the LeBron hate is real. Damn, that's crazy. Okay,
Heck, you don't like LeBron? I mean, he's old, but
it doesn't. But he's not. His talent isn't diminished.
No, I'm not saying that. But health wise, he's not. He's not. The last time he had how many games he plays a year now? You know what I mean? So that's some of the things you have to kind of factor in.
Yeah.
Listen. You definitely, if you want to be a championship team, you have to make some choices and make some changes, because even the way the currency constructed, I don't think if everything was healthy, we'll say that if everyone is healthy, what do you think the Knicks will be able to do? And if the answer is go really deep, then do you change? Do you do a dramatic change?
That's a really good point. I think if they had a healthy Randall, a healthy Robinson, and a healthy the other guy whose name would be
Bogey.
Bodon, whatever.
Yeah,
they could go to the finals as far as I'm concerned. So do you mess that up? You probably don't. But it's hard to not have a LeBron James. I mean, it's hard to say no to that, because we're not talking about. I mean, Josh Hart's a great player. I'm a big fan. DiVincenzo. They're still role players.
They're role players. Yeah, definitely role players. So,
I mean, when he was with the Cleveland Cavaliers, he was dragging bums to the finals. Like,
no. I mean, Cleveland. There was some those teams that had no business being in the finals.
No business.
Hector says, I don't want to trade the core of the defense for a 2-year plan to win a chip, and if they don't, they have to start from scratch like they did with Melo. And that is a fear, I think, a lot of Knicks fans, that you, to get the superstar, you got to give up all the young core, and then if it don't work out, you're stuck. So it's a fascinating question, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Corey D says when you spend $2 million on your body, you should be balling. Oh yeah, I mean that's LeBron, and that's the intelligence, right? Like your body is the most expensive thing that you have.
Well, he's making in himself, basically,
right? And I think he's juicing, but whatever. No one wants to talk about that, so you don't have to.
You want to juice as well? It's fine. It's okay.
I want to juice, but I don't want to play the NBA or anything. I just want to look good. But listen, there is no way a man his age is performing this way unless he's doing something. You don't want to believe it. That's fine with me, but it doesn't make sense. There's something going on.
That's fair.
And I'm not even that mad if he is. I wouldn't say, oh my God, he's betrayed. I'm like, all right, it's basketball. It's not.
But how do you think if that's happening?
Yeah,
it's been happening. Let's say for the last 6-7 years.
Probably.
We would know about it, right? We would know.
How would you know? A little TRC. Is that legal? Maybe it's not. Maybe if it's legal, then that's what he's doing. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what
the NBA is different than baseball. Baseball has some really strict rules about the testing. I actually don't know what the NBA is, but I know it's not as stringent as like the Olympic guys and gals.
Oh yeah. Any little you take a certain protein shake, and if it has some chemical in it, you're in trouble. Yeah. And NFL got their own. It's interesting when NFL they suspend plays all the time, and we don't care. Well, yeah, for 4 games forward, I'm like, yeah. I mean, they are battling each other to the death. So like, I would take a little bit of steroids to deal with some of the injuries and all that stuff. Corey DC, I didn't say he's Barry Bonds. Okay, his head has not got bigger.
But Barry Bonds was that guy, though, man. I think Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. He had a Hall of Fame career before he was juicing. So It's just weird that he's not to me, but
because he seemed like he was a bit of an asshole.
Definitely the media didn't like him, media votes, but Barry Bonds he had his stretch. He had like a 4-year span with the Giants, right? When he was breaking the records. I mean, you couldn't get the guy out. He was either walking, hitting a double or a home run. Every game he was going to walk twice, and basically every other game he's hitting a home run. His OPS was amazing. I mean, that guy, I've never seen anybody hit like that. So unbelievable.
Yeah. If you jumped into some baseball, what's going on? What's your team doing? What's the Cubs doing?
Cubs are pretty good. We got one of the better pitchers in baseball right now. Cubs are good.
And let me throw you in your face if the Yankees are doing pretty well. Let me check. I mean, you can tell me right now, but I will look up the record. Are they playing well? Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, because I don't mind going. I mean, there may be a Knicks parade, it may be a Yankees parade. Like, who knows, right? And Yankees just beat the Twins. All right, real quick. Have you followed the Japanese player, Shoni Atoni, whatever his name is?
Yeah, I keep tabs. He's having a really good start to the Dodgers. I think he's mashing. He's got first player to 60 hits this year. He's a good player, but there was that controversy with his agent or his.
That's what I want to talk to you about.
Not agent, but his speech.
Translator.
Thank you.
Do you think there's any way that this guy did not know that translator was doing what he was doing?
I'll say this. They were basically attached to the hip, right? Especially on game days and media. So there's
language that no one else is talking to each other, right?
He had to know something. Now, did he have multiple conversations on a daily basis, and was he involved in the betting? Probably not. But when you're around somebody that much, that'd be like you not knowing your wife wasn't up to something because you see her every day, right?
Yeah.
So he had to have known something, in my opinion.
Do you think that the baseball is kind of protecting him in this situation because the Dodgers basically invested $1 billion into him, and it would be devastating if he got suspended? Yeah, it'll just be I think you think the Giant. I don't know who owns the Dodgers. I think it was Magic. It's a few people, right? So like one of those group things.
If I had the Dodgers, I would definitely try to protect that as well. That's basically $1 billion investment. So I would do what I needed to do to make sure.
It's a one man $1 billion,
basically,
and he's betting on baseball.
Yeah.
Or sorry, his translator.
Crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
I don't know, but I feel like it was a different sport, different person. It's like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? And also, what are you doing, translator? And he sucked at it. He wasn't even great. He lost tons of money.
Some people, some people have it's addiction. So you can't.
Well, addiction, yeah. It is, yeah. But it's like you are a translator for like the next coming of I don't even know. Like, I don't know the players that but like I said, addiction and he destroyed everything. That's kind of crazy.
And he was making money. The translator was being taken care of, I'm sure.
At least 6 figures, I'm assuming. Yeah.
I would imagine.
Corey D believes that Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. And Hector says, I know this is going to sound fucked up, but the stereo era was the best years in MLB.
Facts. Well, a lot of people think that there was, I think Congress or whoever got involved in that, right? The stereo, the players, and being they were in front of judges, and anyways, it's been known that the MLB was juicing. They changed the baseballs. Attendance was down. They're coming off a strike and everything that's happened back in the day. They needed guys to hit home runs. Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa saved baseball. Okay, those two guys saved baseball. That was the pinnacle of baseball, in my opinion. That home run chase and everything. And who cared? You knew Mark McGwire was on steroids. Sammy Sosa, Rafael Palmeiro, Jose Canseco, Alex Rodriguez, all those guys. Rogers Clemens, Andy Pettitte, they're all taking roids. I didn't care because the product was good. It doesn't matter to me.
I wonder who. It felt like it was always like the older fans. It was the media, the purists. They always like the curmudgeons. Even though, like you said, if they didn't do what they did, they would lose their positions, their jobs, perhaps. So like, well, if baseball kind of blows, then why are we paying you all this money to talk and write about baseball? Yeah. But I feel like they didn't, in the back of my day, they didn't do that. And I think that's probably what caused many of them not even to be in the Hall of Fame. Also, cheaters don't make it, blah, blah, blah. Um,
Baseball has a history of cheating. The Black Sox scandal, they were betting on baseball. Shoeless Joe Jackson was the one guy on the team who was like, I'm not taking money. I think the guy batted like 600. This was back in 19 whatever, 01 or something.
yeah,
But there's a history of that. Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame, right? Because he was betting on games while he was a manager, coach, or whatever. So there's a sensitivity around betting and cheating and things like that. That some of the old guys are like, nah. But those same old guys were around when it was happening in other ways. So baseball's got a really weird history of a lot of weird things happening. A lot of racism in baseball. I mean, Jackie Robinson comes in, but baseball's just been it's got a weird history. It's definitely on the decline as far as attendance and viewership. So they've done a lot of things to try to speed the game up, because to watch a full baseball game, unless you're in person or unless you're an ultra fan, it's not sometimes a fun, exciting experience compared to football, basketball, soccer. Long.
It's very long.
So they got to fix some things to get the attendance back. But
Corey D says pitchers were juicing too. Yeah, what was it, Roger Clemens?
Pettit.
Hector, we definitely got to get this podcast going, because you're hitting with some good takes here, and we can talk about how great Jeremy Lin was or could have been. Anyway, I absolutely agree that Ohtani is being protected, and one of the reasons is because he's from Japan. If the MLB outed him, just imagine how Japan will feel about that.
They might not.
Japanese players will never want to play in the States.
That might be stopped, because
I remember how they reported, even from the ESPN, that they really just kind of made it seem like it's just this one guy by himself. I'm like, all right, I don't know about that.
It's a pipeline, though. I mean, years ago it was Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and those Latin American ball players are influx in the last 20 years, and now Japan's kind of the good players are coming from them right now, as well as the others. But so they don't have that pipeline. No way.
I mean, think about how the NBA in China, right? Like they're so desperate for that Chinese money. We forget all of the terrible things that they're doing, the human rights, and LeBron getting mad at I think Daryl Morey still a GM. I think he is a GM. I
think with the 76ers he is,
But they're talking about free Taiwan, or like basic human rights, and LeBron getting mad because the Chinese money is a lot of money. So it's about business, and I think that's what we need to kind of remember. And Hector here says Japan is the second biggest market for baseball. Second?
Really?
Well, they're not. Think about it. The way they reported, the way the MLB talked about it, the way ESPN, there's not even a panel. You know how they like to do panels when people, first take with Stephen A. saying, do you think that he knew about this?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think he did. Like nothing. Just like, translated. He's bet on baseball. Let's move on. Next story.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and when there's that much money involved and that much with a big franchise like the Dodgers, if Ohtani is playing for the Miami Marlins and he's not that good of a player, and this comes out, he's not in baseball anymore. But because he's great, he's MVP, and he's making all this money, and he's playing on the Dodgers, we're going to sweep some.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's a thing. So I don't know, but that's I'm gonna keep put some tabs on that Ohtani guys, see if it's going on.
I can make for a good main channel, scam.
Well, if he's scamming, trying, and let me know what don't bet if you're not good at it too. Like that was just terrible. Pedro, you said you had a video for me to check out.
Listen, I wish I had enough time to set this up. I love to do you like you do me and just put it on the screen. I want to ask you first if you've heard. So today I was watching some things and on the TikToks, and my brother sent me something. There's a kicker from the Kansas City Chiefs, Harrison Butker. I don't know if you guys in the chat know what's going on. Did you hear about what he did at a commencement speech this past weekend? Do you know anything about that?
No, not at all, actually.
Okay, interesting. So if you could, on YouTube, could you type in something for me and see what pops up?
Yeah.
And actually chat. I don't know if you guys know about it or not. If you type in Harrison as the first name and then the last name is Butker, a little short will pop.
I'm
right
sure
up.
once I type it in, it's gonna probably
It'll
start showing out.
pop right.
Harris. Okay, yeah. His commencement speech.
Commencement speech. If you could play like a little bit, I want to get your opinion on it. We don't have to play the whole thing, and I'll kind of fill in the holes. But
Okay, there's one that's doing a recap. So I don't know. It's just because the one has 20 minutes.
No,
and there's
gotta
let me share. I'm gonna share on here. So let me know what did you watch it on YouTube or you watched it on a different?
I watched a couple of TikToks, but I'm sure it'll be the same. It's going to be the same.
All right, let me see. We'll watch it. We got shorts. Let's see.
There you go. One of those shorts. Go to any kind of.
I'll kick one. It's about a minute, so we'll see what he says. Let's
any of those where you see him like he's speaking. Any of those will be good.
Okay, let me know if you can hear it.
Congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
All right.
What's wrong with that?
Okay, well, it's a short. It's not enough, but basically what he did was he went to a why he's getting some heat and why people are saying it's controversial.
I mean, just by looking at it, I can see why he's talking about wife being women should be embrace that.
Yes, he went to a place and he's talking to the women, saying that they've been lied to. What you should lean into now that you're graduating, you should lean into motherhood instead of worrying about getting promoted and making money. So he's kind of, a lot of women and people overall are just like, why would you say that at a commencement speech? You're just, I spent all this year and all this money and these years in time to graduate. You're telling me I should be barefoot and pregnant. And he referenced Taylor Swift. He references Gay Pride Month. Like he was going in. He's very
so very conservative, traditionalist. Yeah, I mean, Bobby said read the room.
Yeah,
you gotta read the room. You gotta read the room, unless it was planned to be. He seemed emotional. He seemed like he cared about what he was saying. So I don't know if it was like it's not gonna happen. Yeah.
My question is that the place to do that? It's one thing to think it. You can have your opinion, your value system. That's not my business. But is that, in your opinion, is that the place to talk about those things?
I think you should. Yeah, because you want impact. They're not going to. He may have changed, maybe a mind or two on what they're looking for.
So that was purpose. He wanted to do that.
Now, would I would do that? No, I wouldn't do like that, dude. That's not because it is because the typical speech is supposed to be go out there. You got this degree, take on the world, be the president, be whatever you want. Staying home with kids isn't usually, and Bobby said, was it BYU? If it was BYU, it would probably be a problem, right? Like, I think that's Christian school, right? So but I understand he did that. I think that was intentional, but I can see why people and women would be upset about that because that's not the modern woman. Modern women are supposed to go out there and make more money than a man and take on everything, but he is correct. I think there are many women who do not want to work. But the way our capitalist system is designed, we all have to work, especially if you live in New York City.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if you ask the average woman, do you want some guy to take care of you in an honest way? And I don't know the ones who are, younger in their 20s, they probably say, no, I want to do it myself. But when you talk to an older woman, they'd be like, hell no, I'd rather stay home and have this guy make the money and I can stay home and clean and deal with these kids.
Yeah.
So it's like
younger women is probably more split. I think there's some 20 to 25-year-olds that'd be like, yeah, I want to be the patriarch. I'll stay at home. I'll do this. But then there are a lot that are like, progressive and like, nope, I don't need a man. I don't need, so I think it's close.
Right.
I think if it's an older woman, yeah, it's probably like, I played that game. I'll
Yeah.
stay,
I'll stay home. Like, I don't want to fucking work. So, but I do appreciate him sparking that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he did it. I like the fact that he did it.
Takes balls.
It takes balls. You know, he's going to get some issue. He's going to get some hit for it. Ideally, do you want to do that? No, because you don't want, you want them to celebrate. You want them to be happy. It's all platitudes. It's, I mean, the best commencement speech ever. It's on YouTube. It's Steve Jobs. I think it's still the best one.
I don't know.
There.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I think he was at Harvard or something like that. But he kind of, Steve Jobs is pretty good with speeches and kind of getting to the point of what is important. But, it's interesting that too, like Seinfeld gets up, talks, a few of them leave because, Palestine and, Jerry Seinfeld is Jewish, so blah, blah, blah.
Whole other thing, man, right?
The whole other thing. But all right, well, this is a question. You have daughters. What do you think about that? You sitting there, you got your daughter's graduating from college, and some kicker shows up and says, "Yeah, they're lying to you. Go be barefoot and pregnant."
I don't like it because you're kind of like diminishing what my daughter just did at school and the time and the money it takes and the effort and what you're working towards. And if my daughter's working towards a criminal law degree and this guy is like, you should lean into being a mom because my family's worked for my family. Like, that's a little bit not appropriate, like at that time and place, right?
Yeah.
That's a conversation you have in private or you have on a podcast, but not in front of, But this school, I think, is a religious type school anyway.
I heard. Did they clap? It seemed like it wasn't a booze. Did anyone leave or?
There was some clapping there, but he's getting some hate from obviously the left. He's a very right wing leaning individual. But I wouldn't love that because it just seems like what, I'm surprised.
From what I saw, it seemed like he didn't get booed at that location. It seemed like they appreciated what he had to say, which is cool. I like the fact that you have young people who are open minded to listen, even if they're like, "What the guy's talking about? This guy's, I don't agree," but not to react so emotionally about what a guy that they'll never talk. They may never know who the hell that guy is.
Good point.
He's a kicker. I don't know any. Other than Adam Vinatieri, I don't know any more kickers. They all, he's
good. He's good, and he's won 3 Super Bowls, but he's still a kicker. He's not Patrick Mahomes,
No.
Yeah.
And they were hungover. I don't know. I think Bobby definitely thinks it's probably not appropriate. Yes, we can say that, but it's good that he sparked the conversation. Well, he did. He was honest. Spoke his truth that her taking care of the home makes him a better man.
Yeah.
And embracing that. And I think he's just saying that you can do it as an option. Now he could have probably steered away. You've been lied to. He could have delivered it differently, but I think he wanted to do that on purpose.
He definitely used words and things to get people talking. And I think if you're ever trying, to your point, if you're really opinionated about something and you're passionate about something because your experience has been great, so you want other people to hear about your success of your family, right? And we should be having those conversations. I don't think we have enough of those real conversations, right? Yeah. But he used words and things that would trigger some individuals to feel a certain kind of way on both sides, and it gets to people talking, right? Yeah. So it's definitely effective for sure.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about it in terms of, yeah, man, but we're making fun of him as a kicker. He's still a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
You can do that. You're able to have the greatest life possible. And she's at home in resources that most of us aren't able to achieve right now. I know, Pedro, you're able to do it, but like most of us can't, right? Like most can't.
I live in St. Louis, bro. I'm not in New York.
Well, I'm just saying, right? It's great. I think it's ideal for many people. And it's either you're not honest because you're worrying about, like you said, the modern woman, or financially just not fucking happening. We all have to work, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that he said something about it.
Yeah.
And and that's college. Now the college campuses are all about, Palestine and Israel, and then the people are fighting, and certain people can't talk, can't do the speeches. Like, this college is supposed to be the time where you're able to say whatever the fuck is on your mind and have discussions. And colleges are no longer those places. Even the Ivy League, these people are spending tens of thousands of dollars, and you have the most sensitive children there behaving in a way that's just it's like perpetuant, that is entitled.
Yeah.
They think they're smarter than everyone else.
Well, but
because they've read some books.
I think that they believe that they're on the right side of history, right?
Right.
And they want to be heard. I've seen people walking. I've seen walkouts at some of these graduations where 100 kids get up and they walk out and they leave as somebody's speaking. Like, it's getting wild. And I always appreciate people that can stand up for something that they believe in, or for people that feel like they're not being heard. But like, to your point, it's like, sometimes depending on how it's done, it looks like they're just crying and they're just like they're being too emotional, right? And it's weird. We're in a weird space, man. It's weird.
All right, are we old now? Because this kind of came in my head.
I am, yes.
I'm sure the people who protest back in the 60s about a lot of issues were in colleges.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if they were shooting down people who didn't talk, but maybe, I don't know. I from what I kind of remember, that there was a lot of sit-ins. There were the hipster movements. They hate the wars.
Yeah.
Is this just a cycle, and we're just being like curmudgeons, like, get back to school or shut the fuck up? Or
that's a really good question. I think in America, in America, on our soil,
right.
This country in the 50s and 60s was worse than what we're dealing with now.
I would agree. I would agree with that one.
World, though, I think there's a lot of other things happening that are crazy, and Americans want to have a voice in that, to stand up for them. And we're sending money overseas, which is, we're not taking care of Americans. So like, there's some similarities, but there's some differences. I think I stand more with the people that were protesting in the 60s and 70s than I do some of the kids doing it now. That's how I look at it. But that's a good question. As far as the cycles go, yeah, I think if we look at history, it tends to repeat itself. And we're older now, so these kids that are doing these things now might feel differently about things 30 years from now.
Yeah, right? you get older. You sometimes get a little bit more conservative. You have more you have more resources. You kind of know how the world really works, that kind of thing.
I'm definitely more conservative with certain things now than I was when I was 25. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, you learn more about things. Money becomes more of a factor in your life as you become older, and a lot of the conservative stuff, and money and how that works with, you tend to think differently with certain things as you get older. So.
Yeah, Bobby, this is a great comment. It's a reflection of countries being run by older generations and the younger generations wanting to be heard. I think that's the perfect way to put that. I think that's the struggle, where new ideas may be coming in, or trying to be more idealistic in the older generation. Like, this is how it works.
Yeah,
they were young, they tried it didn't work, or things didn't go the direction. So that's interesting. So I mean, we'll see. But I'm gonna check out the entire speech when I get a chance.
I haven't watched the whole speech. I watched snippets of things and saw some reactions. I think there's a lot more there. But he definitely has some balls. It takes some balls to talk about what he was talking about, and it's interesting little.
Yeah, definitely. Traditionalists. And nothing wrong with that if you can do it. I think it's actually pretty a solid thing if you're able to get it done.
Well, most Americans can't right now, and that's where there's that divide of like, they can't, because it's hard. Most Americans are struggling. You know what I mean? So
yeah, definitely. But on that note, guys, the Dallas Mavericks looks like they're going to. There's 3 minutes left. It's about what's that? 9-point lead.
Told you.
So it looks like, and that's a 5th seed. That's crazy.
It is a 5th seed, but the West was loaded.
And it was it was kind of jumbled together. So
yeah, I think I'm not surprised. It's going to be Dallas, and I think it's going to be Dallas and the Wolves still. I think the Wolves are going to come back.
Oh, you're still thinking the Wolves are going to win? Okay. The fault going down with that ship.
I'm gonna die.
Nuggets may beat them by 20 tomorrow. So I want to the seventh game. I do want to go to game 7. I just, is what Hector is correct. Did the Nuggets figure them out, or just played better?
We'll see.
We'll see.
I mean, there's still two. And my thing is still 2 minutes and 46 seconds, and Dallas is only up 9. So this game is not over yet. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think. So
yeah, we'll check it out, guys. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll be back on Monday. Peace.
Luka Doncic, man.